Good morning, coffee crew. We've got ourselves a coffee sips episode today. As you can see from the screen here, we've got the Assassin's Creed Black Flag Resynced showcase coming up live here in about 8.5 minutes, which gives me plenty of time to talk about my thoughts and some of the things I do and don't want out of this remake, as they're calling it. They're calling it a remake. I personally would, I think, prefer to see it be more of a remaster. If they go the remake route, I want it to be like Shadow of the Colossus remake. That's like my perfect remake formula right there. Is you're taking the core game, you're providing that in a newer presentation, you're making the game look prettier, you're showing off what your latest engine iteration is capable of doing, stuff like that. But I get a strong feeling it's not going to do that, just from the little snippets of information that have been shared prior to this showcase coming out. Namely, and this one isn't that surprising. In fact, I kind of welcome it. It's not going to have the multiplayer. The Black Flag multiplayer is not returning. And it's not going to have the DLC. Meaning the Assassin's Creed Freedom Cry DLC, which I thought was a really interesting and solid add-on to the Assassin's Creed 4 experience. And it was a large enough experience to be kind of a small sub-game within the Assassin's Creed series. And for those that maybe haven't played Freedom Cry, it follows Adewale, who is Edward Kenway's kind of quartermaster, second hand on the ship, his first lieutenant, whatever you want to call him. And he frees captured slaves out in the Caribbean and thwarts the slave trade, which it's a really cool idea. And it was able to reuse and kind of recontextualize a lot of the gameplay loop of Black Flag and make it into its own thing, which was neat. And it also delved more into like Isu artifacts, the ancient civilization that you find, the like Apple of Eden, stuff like that, those pieces of Eden. It had more of that kind of going on than I feel Assassin's Creed 4 had, at least a little bit. It was cool. Anyways, it was a neat DLC, and it's a bit of a shame that won't be returning in Resynced. Is there room for it to get added back as a remade DLC too? Sure, maybe. I don't know how I would feel about that. But with the revelation that this Resynced is not going to have the multiplayer or Freedom Cry, and it's going to be just, Black Flag, but remade and prettied up, I kind of hope that it falls within that $40 to $50 price range that I feel is a little easier to stomach and accept for remakes of games that are 13 to 15 years old at this point. I think Assassin's Creed 4 is right at 13 years old. It was a very late stage PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360 title, and it also had the Xbox One and PlayStation 4 launch title kind of thing going for it. And the original game holds up relatively well, especially on PC, where you're able to modify it, or you had more resolution kind of customization, future-proofing with it being a PC game, whereas the Xbox One and PS4 versions, it looks a little dated at this point, and that is what I think necessitates that, not necessitates, but makes this remake, a little bit more welcome, is that the console player base has been left with an older, kind of dated presentation of the game. And looking at this image, or this set of images, we're getting some kind of, I guess, stills from the game. I'm hoping it's not a huge asset flip of Skull and Bones. I'm sure there will be, you know, some ship models that are used from Skull and Bones, but it'll be like the more grounded ones, not the over-the-top, hey, we're making a sailing live service game. And then I also hope that with the remake that they don't lean too hard into the RPG elements. And then doubling back real quick on ships, I know Assassin's Creed Shadows, I didn't play it, but I know Shadows had a couple of European-style full sail ships that if they reuse some of those models, I think those would fit the look and style and feel so much better than porting in models and ships from Skull and Bones. But for the most part, I want the game to be the original Assassin's Creed 4 experience, but made better, presented better, maybe utilizing the best aspects of Assassin's Creed Shadows, Mirage, and Valhalla, but then tuning the gameplay back to that original Assassin's Creed 4 feel. If they mess up that gameplay flow, the combat, the parkour could be better. I feel like Mirage and Shadows might be the way to go for the like character movement and parkour. But world design, if they can reach Shadows and Valhalla level, I think that is pretty okay. That would be fine. I don't need a huge, crazy open world, though, and I know that that's one of the things that is probably going to get changed. It is 2026. It's a modern Assassin's Creed game now. Or it will be a modern Assassin's Creed now. Whereas original Assassin's Creed 4, you had, like, loading zones going into the cities. I feel like here you'll be able to, like, sail directly into the ports, and there you are. Now you're in, you know, Havana, or you're wherever, you know. And there were 3 big cities you were able to explore. I think they could expand on that with this remake. Like, there are aspects and things that could be really good, but there's a lot that could also be, that's a choice, you know? And then we're getting, like, kind of glimpses of some of the ships, and these don't look terribly egregious. They don't look like they're too skull and bony. And then it's saying this is in-game cinematic, so that's cool. I'm gonna get the Electro Swing muted, and I'm gonna get our live stream going. Ooh. For we may or might never. Okay, so this is promising, and this is the other thing where, like, if they are going the if they're going the RPG route, sweeter among friends. I hope the characters don't look stiff. I hope animations don't feel stiff like they do in Valhalla and Shadows, because that's one of the things where the older Assassin's Creed games still hold far better than the latest iterations. It's animations. Ubisoft has really fumbled hard with their character animations. I thought you'd be done chasing fairy stories. I need to turn this down just a smidge. Not yet. And here we go. Let's see what Ubisoft is cooking up with this remake. And this is the first remake that they've done of an Assassin's Creed game. And I feel like the game that would have made more sense would have been Assassin's Creed 1.
We fly no colors out here, but praise the lack of them. So let the black flag signal nothing but your allegiance to man's natural freedoms.
Shoot. Yeah, volume tweaking. Oops.
A man plays the fool, that is only fools he'll persuade, but appear to be the devil. And all men will submit. We're pirates, kid.
We take as we please.
Okay, movement and combat, at least from this in-game cinematic, looks like they may be retaining the original combat, which, good, please.
It ain't work if you love it.
Black Flag Resynced, and then dropping 4 from the title is interesting, but also, like, makes sense.
I have to say, it is so good to be here. I played Edward Kenway more than a decade ago, and you know, he's one of those characters that never really leaves you. Now, over the past months, we know that you've been waiting, and we know that you've heard things. And today, it is finally time
Yeah,
to
we've
share
heard
with
things
you
because this is one
what
of
we've been
gaming's
working on.
worst kept secrets.
Assassin's Creed Black Flag Resynced is a faithful remake of one of the most beloved Assassin's Creed games. It's totally rebuilt from the ground
Nice having
up,
Matt
with the latest
Ryan
version
doing
of the
this
Anvil
kind of
engine
intro,
and enriched
too.
with lots of new additions, resynchronization with Edward's journey and memories. The same story, the same man, but elevated to a new level of immersion and realism to bring you one of the most thrilling swashbuckling pirate adventures. And I'm happy to say, Assassin's Creed Black Flag Resynced will be released on July 9th, 2026.
The rumored release
Today,
date
guys,
is
you are getting
accurate.
The real deal. The first ever look at gameplay. Everything that's been rebuilt, reimagined, and some behind-the-scenes stories. But enough of my talking, yeah? Let's just jump right in.
Now, I'm wondering if they'll show off or confirm the, like, new story kind of elements that focus on Mary Reed, if that's going to be true.
Edward Kenway. And this is Assassin's Creed Black Flag Resynced. 13 years after the original, this remake brings the classic game back to life. Rebuilt from the ground up with the latest Anvil engine to deliver the most thrilling pirate adventure. All right, let's set sail.
And using the Ubisoft Anvil engine is like where I'm a little iffy on it.
So full of adventure.
You play as Captain
But if it's a new
Edward
iteration of it, that
Kenway,
could
a
bring
rebellious scoundrel
better
eager to
animation
make a
work.
name for himself in the pursuit of glory, freedom, and a search for a better life.
Seen your face before. You's mates with them pirates down in Nassau.
Shut your bloody gob or I'll fill it with shot, you hear me?
Edward, is it?
Alright, yeah. Animation work looks pretty good in the cinematic parts.
Edward is drawn into their
So I can like,
conflict with
I can rest easy on that.
legendary treasures at stake. Along the way, he joins forces with infamous pirates such as Anne Bonny, Charles Vane, and Blackbeard. With them, he helps establish a short-lived, lawless republic following the pirate code and defying empires built on cruelty and greed. Together, in their search for freedom, power, and riches, they'll fight across a treacherous tropical paradise, from dangerous waters to dense jungles, untamed lands, and bustling historical cities.
In the shot with the ships there, it looked like they had the like crewmen being picked up to replenish the Jackdaw's crew. So they're keeping that.
To Kingston's bustling trade hub, and Nassau, the beating heart of the pirate republic. Each city offers a distinct atmosphere shaped by opportunities.
So then that makes me wonder if they are just gonna keep the
Caribbean world
the three main
features a new
cities.
level of immersion and realism, powered by high-resolution textures, enhanced lighting, strikingly detailed environments, and a new dynamic weather system.
Probably carried over from Shadows, which I've seen a lot of praise
Even
from.
underwater exploration is more expansive.
I've seen where the
more
weather
beautiful,
system in
and
Shadows.
more perilous than ever before. With
Okay, are
seamless
reworking
access
the
to
underwater? That
cities
could
and
be
locations,
interesting.
The world feels truly alive. Creating the perfect backdrop for a life on the edge, where freedom is earned and danger is never far away. Time to draw swords, lads. The combat system has been entirely reworked into an action-oriented experience. while wielding dual swords, pistols, and hidden blades. Every move now plays a specific role with faster, more fluid attacks and combos. Land a perfect parry to open up your target for an instant kill, then follow with up to 4 chained takedowns.
Okay.
Use walls, ledges, and breakables to your advantage. Keep track of your opponents.
This is looking more like original combat, less so than the RPG kind of game combat.
You will be punished.
Like, they've got some elements from the RPG games, but they knew they had to retain that original combat
Your
flow.
environment is key. As you navigate through cities and jungles, you'll experience smooth and improved iconic parkour moves. From free jumps to back ejects.
So parkour is probably, as I had mentioned, taking best aspects of Mirage.
Movements, giving you tighter control, resulting in greater speed and deadlier assassinations. Being a pirate assassin often calls for a subtle approach. With Resynced,
He pulled his hood up. I wonder if that means you'll have an almost Assassin's Creed Syndicate, high profile, low profile kind of combat that you can do. Or, well, ooh, wait.
Sailing and eavesdropping missions have
Valhalla
also
kind of
been
had that.
In the original game,
But I think
getting
Syndicate did it
discovered
better.
meant instant desynchronization. Yes, this was a pretty big pain point. We remember. Now, the action continues. Your objectives remain, but your target will react, and you must adapt accordingly.
Okay, so if your tailing mission goes sideways, it's not just gonna desync.
Interactions offer multiple ways to succeed and progress in your missions.
That kind of gets rid of some of the linearity of the mission flow. That's
Of course.
interesting.
This wouldn't be a real pirate adventure without a ship.
Jackdaw. You named your brig after a poxy bird.
The Jackdaw. What a beauty. Set sail and freely roam the Caribbean. Now equipped with even more firepower, the Jackdaw can conquer the high seas like never before. With new alternate fire upgrades for every weapon, you now have more power and flexibility to overcome opponents' ships in any situation.
I would not know if this is just a reuse of the Skull and Bones combat system, but it looks more refined.
And fort raids. All of these are back, and as challenging, dangerous, and exciting as ever.
And good, keeping the shipboarding,
To
because you can't do that in Skull and Bones, and it's like one of the things that, like, what the hell? What are they doing?
The Padre, and Deadman Smith. Each officer has a unique narrative questline that reveals their backstory.
Oh,
Gain their
okay.
trust to recruit them to your crew and benefit from their special gameplay abilities. Deadman Smith, for example, unlocks a double shot from broadside weapons.
Interesting. And I was thinking it would be cool if they expanded on the crew aspects and gave you a bit more customization, more reward, more reason to get to know your crew. Because really, in the original game, it's just Adewale.
That's right. You can now find a cat or monkey for the Jackdaw.
Oh my god, alright, you're trying to lure me in with the cats. What? Alright, Ubisoft. Wonder if that's carryover from Skull and Bones.
Or just soak up the sun, regaled by shanties new and old.
It does make me think Sea of Thieves, though.
Assassin's Creed Black Flag Resynced offers a deeper, more immersive adventure that remains faithful to what players love, while enriching the experience with enhanced gameplay features and fresh quests and storylines.
It was a bit of a sudden
Ones for the
drop
officers
with
you met
the
earlier and
with that
just
air assassination.
new narrative arcs involving our old friends, Blackbeard and Steed. Defy empires and relive the era's explosive events amidst the ancient war between assassins and Templars in the ultimate pirate fantasy. Gold, infamy, and adventure await.
So if they're expanding on Blackbeard and Mead and everything,
Again.
I wonder if that means they're fixing some of the like mid to late game pacing
With
issues.
Black Flag Resynced, we set out to reconnect with the heart of Black Flag. From the start, the intention was clear: deliver a faithful and enriched experience grounded in what players loved. We've rebuilt the entire adventure using our latest Anvil engine. Expect fully overhauled visuals, new additions that deepen its world, and enhanced gameplay both on land and at sea.
They're calling it newest
Movement now
Anvil
flows more
engine, even though
naturally
it's
from one
always
action to
been
the
the
next,
Anvil
whether you're doing
engine. It's just a
parkour
new
across
iteration.
rooftops in Havana, or fighting on the docks.
Is this Ubisoft
Parkour
Anvil, which
built on
is
the
that
latest
same
design
latest
improvements from
iteration, or is
recent
this a
Assassin's Creed
newer
games, while
newer
still
build
keeping it
from
with
that?
classic moves.
I'd like some
Combat
clarity.
now offers a more dynamic, swashbuckling experience, driven by precise parries. and
Because this
technique.
looks way more
Stealth
refined
gets its share of
than
improvements too.
the
The
Ubisoft
ability to crouch
Anvil
anywhere. They open up more tactical routes and subtle
list of
approaches,
games,
letting
which
you shape the
includes
adventure the way you want.
Valhalla Up to
Naval gameplay
Shadows.
also follows the same philosophy and offers more tactical options.
Actually, I had the
New
list
officers
up
will join the
earlier.
crew with powerful abilities, while the Jackdaw's weapons can be upgraded.
Yeah,
with new
Valhalla,
modes
Immortals,
and
Phoenix
shape-ups.
Rising,
The scene now
Mirage,
plays an
Skull and
active role in
Bones,
how you'll be challenged by the
Shadows,
elements,
and that
whether in
canceled Prince
waves or
Persia
with
Sands of
fluent how
Time
your ship
remake.
will handle, while preserving the pace and freedom players remember. Assassin's Creed Black Flag Resynced matters deeply to us and to you. That's why we took the time to rebuild it with the care it deserves. This remains a solo, adventure, and character-driven experience. It is not an RPG. The
Good.
focus stays on how you
I like
play
that they're
and how you
directly
explore the
stating
world.
that.
And as we develop the game, we organize dedicated workshops with our community. These early player feedbacks played an important role in refining many of these elements. Here's a look at their most recent visit.
Hello everyone.
Nice shout out to the
here at
community
Ubisoft
members that
Singapore
they brought
studio,
in
where
to
we invited
like
some
help
of our
shape it. That's
biggest
pretty cool.
Assassin's Creed fans to discover the remake of Assassin's Creed Black Flag. They've had the opportunity to meet the devs, try the game, and share their valuable feedback with us. Here's what they had to say.
I still can't believe that I can help the dev team to make the game better.
Hi, Rhea.
Finally arrived.
Hi. If you heard a
Part
thump,
of-
that was
of
my
that
cat Rhea
process.
jumping up on the
Black
table.
Flag is my favorite game.
Hi,
so to be a
beautiful.
part of
How
that
are you?
process is just
Hi,
awesome.
Rhea.
It felt nice to be appreciated in that way, to give direct
You
input.
almost never
about the
come up
game.
here.
The feedback with the dev team, they were very open as a dev team to take the criticism, what needs to be fixed, what's great. They even
Don't knock
asked
the
us more
mic, okay,
questions about it, so I
sweetie?
love the
Mwah.
curiosity that
Give
they
you a
show
kissy.
us. And it
Yeah, you
shows
get
that
my
they truly
cat
care
kissy
about
ASMR
what they
while
do.
the community
I'm just really
peeps
excited
talk
to be
about
back, like,
how
with
they
the
shape
addition of new
whatever
audio lines,
they
new
helped with.
dialogue, and the new music.
Not to downplay their role, I do think it's really
Because
cool
that was
that
for the
they
game.
had community
They
folks come in.
care about this game, this remake. When I heard rumors about this game, I just wanted to be involved in giving as much effective feedback as possible.
Hi, Rhea. You were very in the way right now.
Some of this work came directly from spending time with some of our core players early on. We had them play early builds and sat down with them to gather their honest feedback on the game, tapping into the many things players expect of a Black Flag remake, from gameplay
Yeah,
features
come over
to
here,
visual
Rhea.
fidelity.
Get a bit out the
This
way.
helped us refine some of our choices along the way. What was interesting was not only to gather that feedback, but to understand why players reacted this way. They were incredibly passionate about Edward, how he moves, how he reads on screen, even the details on his face. That led
Which,
to deeper
yes, those are all very
conversations.
important details
Together, we
because
explored different
that is
approaches,
what makes
tested
Edward still
ideas,
stand out as
challenged
such a great
assumptions,
protagonist for
and
the
refined choices
series.
until the intent felt right again. The team's passion and commitment have driven every step of this journey, and we can't wait for you to see more of what we've been crafting.
Like a lot of the characters that they've had since Edward have just felt like wet
Now, I believe
cardboard.
the Black Flag is one of those pirate adventures that never really left the players' minds. And it's also really special to be here today with some of the people who helped shape the game back then and who are bringing it back now. Jean, you were creative director on the original Black Flag, and Paul, you're the creative director on Resynced, who's leading the vision of this remake today. Now, before we dive into what the game is now, I'd love to go back for a moment. So
Nice to
When
have
you
so many
started
returning
building
team
Black
members
Flag
coming
back in
too.
early 2012?
2012.
2012. How was the world imagined in the first place? I mean, what were the like pillars that were there from day one?
Well, from the very beginning, one of the key central core pillar was fluidity, right? We really wanted a seamless experience, connecting movement, combat, and navigation, all very naturally. And it was the same seamlessness that we were looking for between naval experience and the ground experience, because the other challenges we were facing was to merge actually two fantasies, being a pirate on one side and being an assassin on the other, without any friction.
I think you're giving a little too much credit to the assassin part.
Naval gameplay was
Yes, Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag had that assassin element to it, but Edward was not even an assassin until the like very end of the game.
And it was very compelling,
which they could
to see
like
other people like
make
putting
him
his team
embrace the
actually
assassin
to face the
identity a
same
bit earlier with
challenges
this
that we did,
retelling, but I
face
don't
back
feel
in
like
the
they
days.
need to,
And I think
or
what
that they
helped,
should.
them craft the game was that a lot of people,
Because that was such like
involved in
a
Resynced
pivotal
today
part of
were
his
already
like
part of the game, the original
reshaping of his
Oh, so you
identity.
were
He was
already a part of
discovering
the
what
team
it
back
meant to
then,
be an
right?
assassin,
So,
what it meant to have the
when you
freedom
come
that
back to a project
the
all
Assassin's
these years
Order
later, what stayed
stood for, and how
non-negotiable
that
from
clashed
the
with his
original
own
vision, apart
personal
from the fact
views
that,
of freedom.
You know, I'm Kenway.
So, Matt, the one thing that was non-negotiable is the original story of Edward Kenway. We have never approached Resynced as a reinvention. Our goal is to carry John's vision forward. And today, we have much more room to do so since the game is engineered and rebuilt on Ubisoft's latest Anvil. It allows us to push dynamism, gameplay, immersion further while keeping the original vision and story intact.
Yeah, Jean, and you mentioned before how collaborative the original game was, and can you talk about that, especially with Singapore?
Yeah, absolutely. It was a absolutely team effort back in the time. And I remember actually in 2012, when we first came here in Singapore, meeting Paul and the team to do what we call the blueprint, you know, this week of hard work where the game really emerged from the preparatory work. And Montreal worked very closely with Singapore. Singapore built key parts of Black Flag. The naval gameplay was built on top of the Assassin's Creed 3 naval tech that was developed, you know, in some specific missions. But you were also behind a lot of places, locations, and gameplays, you know, like caves, underwater gameplay, forts, ships, and some major missions like the E3 demo that you worked on.
That's right. Right. So there seems to be like a real sense of continuity here, you know, not just in the game, but in the people making it. You know, one thing.
Nice having such like an in-depth
that really
interview
shaped Black Flag
as
for me
one of the
was
segments here.
how dynamic the scenes felt coming back to it for Resynced and shooting.
They're really driving home, like,
in Toronto.
we're not
scenes just
trying to
felt so
reinvent the
dynamic,
wheel
like
with
the
Black
original
Flag.
game. And Jean, what was the intention?
Giving you that same experience
back
you
then,
remember,
you know, when it
just
came
with
to all
our
the
latest
cinematics?
technological
So from the
advancements.
start, and it was
And a couple
lot
of
discussion
extra
with
little
Kama,
goodies thrown in.
The animation director back then, we really wanted the scenes to feel alive. You know, we wanted characters moving,
Yeah,
interacting
these
each other.
animations look
objects, you
so
know,
much better
reacting
than
physically.
anything
And that sense
Origins,
of movement was
Odyssey,
really
or
part of the
Valhalla,
game's
or
identity, I
Shadows,
think.
especially Shadows
And when
offered.
you rebuild a game like this, that I guess that becomes a huge challenge, right, Paul? And how did you keep the spirit whilst trying to push it further with all of today's amazing technology?
Well, there are many ways, but to carry on the spirit of Black Flag, we always remembered one thing: to rebuild the game with the original pillars in mind, John's pillars and the original core team's pillars. But the most important thing was the story. Every single small moment in the game had to be rebuilt and crafted. And it took a lot of handcrafting, especially the facial animations. But that's important because that's the soul of the game.
You men are the pariahs of Charlestown, and I would profit better by using your organs for chum and your bones for char.
That looks good.
By Christ!
And you know, when you add new
Nice.
things
Okay.
to a game
that
people really know,
I wonder how much of the
off by
world
heart,
they're
and they
gonna
know
show
it so
off.
well,
Like,
the
not
fear
the
is always
cities.
that
They showed off the
the
cities and
people
how
might
pretty they're gonna
notice
look.
the
But like,
seams, right?
what's the
Jean, when
map
you
gonna look
played
like? I
it,
wonder.
what did you feel?
if they're not going to have
Actually,
load screens
felt
going
like
into the
playing Black
cities,
Flag, you know,
how do they
and not
handle
even
having
noticing
the
where
map
the
be
original
a
end
full
was
open
ending and when the new content that Paul and the
open
team
world?
wrote was starting. And this is something really, really important. That
Because a lot of the
continuity is
islands
very
that you
much
go to
essential.
and land on are very
John,
linear
whenever we want to
in their
change
layout and
or
space.
add something, we would always
And
question
it's very
ourselves,
clear
does
where
this
you're
belong
not
here?
supposed to
Would
go.
Edward do this? Would John get upset? And if the answer wasn't clear, we
But you have
simply
the
wouldn't
entire
do it.
continent.
However, as we all
The
know,
entire
no
continent.
remake
You have the
is complete
entire
without original
island of
content. So we
Cuba.
have added brand new chapters,
But you can only
and
go to
brand new missions
Havana.
to the game, including a brand new
And
scene with Edward's wife Caroline.
like all
that's
that
written by
extra
Darby
space,
himself.
it's kind of left unused, save for a couple of spots
Jean,
here and there where you can
there's
like
something,
park the
I don't
jackdaw
know, there's
and go on
something
land for a little bit.
deeper in Black Flag
There's a
than
lot of
just,
opportunity
like,
to expand on
pirate
that,
freedom,
but there's
you know,
also a lot
and
of
it's closely tied to the
possibility
character
to
of
like
Edward.
Yes,
kind of
absolutely.
accidentally
We really
Odyssey
wanted to send a
resync. I
message
don't know.
also saying that
It's why I want them to show that
freedom
off.
without structure doesn't lead you anywhere, right? And Edward's arc reflects that. He thinks everything will be granted, you know, that's the good life, plundering, etc. But then in the end, you realize that you lost all your friends, right? And so this is very important because he grows into someone that understands his own responsibilities and that makes
Exactly.
him, like
He
you said,
grows
very
into the assassin
And that's exactly
order.
what I really leaned into coming back to the character after, you know, more than a decade. You know, it's the same Edward, but there seemed to be like, for me personally, you know, from the scenes that were written, kind of, as I said, more dynamism, but also there's a certain kind of weight to Edward's journey, you know? I guess that with Black Flag Resynced, there are some really kind of important decisions to make, right, Paul? And how did you approach those?
So Matt, with Resynced,
Good
we made a
question.
clear choice. It is a pure story-driven adventure, and we are fully focused on Edward's adventures in the Caribbean. As a result of this focus, we have elected to not have the multiplayer and not have the DLC. However, Resynced is built from the ground up with new story, new content, and new systems. But we're staying true to its action-adventure roots. Resynced is a 2026 take on the original legend. And for those of us who are curious, the original will still be available.
Okay, yeah, that was going to be another follow-up question. Is sometimes with these remakes, they do delist. I don't know why they would delist the original. Good to see that they won't.
How it fit the franchise.
So for anyone that wants to retain their
back then in
original
2013, the present day reflected where the franchise was
kind of
at.
experience
It
with
was
the
a
game, they
transition
don't have to
moment, especially
engage.
with
They don't have to
Desmond's story
buy
and the
Resynced
content
if
at the time. But
it doesn't
now
strike their
with
fancy.
Resynced, I think there were some changes were needed.
That's right. Today, the modern day has evolved. For Black Flag Resynced,
The
we've
modern
approached it in a
day
way
stuff
that focuses on Edward's journey while
is
still
being
connecting his
omitted,
memories to the enemies.
which
The modern day rifts in Black Flag Resynced will feature new moments that focus on Edward's internal struggles.
There's also something
okay,
about Black Flag that
because
I feel that
I think I'm in the like
people
the
still
minority.
crave
I
what the
liked
game
the
brought,
modern day
you know?
stuff
You know what? I
in
think it's
Assassin's Creed
because
4.
It's a game full of light.
I thought it was kind of
Yes, there's
meta that you like
danger and
work
violence,
for a
but
fictionalized
everything
game
takes place
studio
under the bright
making the
Caribbean sky, you know?
fictionalized Assassin's
Palm
Creed game.
trees, seas, movement. It's very generous in a sense, and that sense
Because
of
it's like
escapism has always been.
it
part
wasn't
of
a
the
great
game,
look at
and
game
I think it's
development,
very
but it was a
relevant
fun
in
and
2026.
like
Yeah, totally. And,
kind of
and the other
quirky
thing
way
that
of
people, I
framing
feel,
the modern
never
day
forget, and
stuff.
certainly I never had, is the music.
Yeah, absolutely, Matt. It's the music.
And they
Especially
could have
the sea
expanded
shanties.
on that,
The
but
sea
it
shanties in
seems
particular
they're
have
pivoting
always
and
been
doing
part of Black
something
Flag's
quite a
identity.
bit
For
different.
Resynced, we have kept the shanties that everybody loves, but we have also added new shanties that are connected to the story.
Oh yeah, new shanties, cool. With shanties, I feel like there's room to like expand on them even more. Like, what if you got instruments for your crew? Like, you could get a drum and a guitar, and you like have some dynamic
because of his work
music evolution with the shanties. That'd be cool.
Woodkid. Ah, cool. Yeah,
That's cool.
That's great.
Hey everyone, Woodkid here. I'm in my studio in Paris now and I have great news for you. I'm back in the Assassin's Creed franchise, this time for Assassin's Creed Black Flag Resynced. You know, the world of Assassin's Creed has been very important for me and very linked to my career. It started like 15 years ago or something. And this time, I'm very excited about what we've done. I know that Assassin's Creed Black Flag is a game that's very important to all of you. It's a game about escapism, about rebellion, about exploration, and these are themes that are very, very important for my work. You know, I've explored these themes a lot in my music. So I won't say too much, but I can't wait to
Okay,
review what I've
naturally.
done for Assassin's Creed Black Flag Resynced.
Having him return to the franchise, especially for Black Flag Resynced, means a lot to the team. We've been working on a
Sounds like it meant a
really
lot to
reimagined
have
track
as many
specifically for
returning
Black Flag
people as
Resynced,
possible
and can't wait for you guys to hear it.
for the team,
Yeah,
which
right.
is
And,
good.
you know,
I think
music is
I think
just
that'll
one of those
resonate well with
things
fans.
that the people remember long after they stop playing. I mean, I did the sea shanties. I still play in my car now from time to time. You know, and this game means a lot to you, and we know that.
Yeah, absolutely. This game means a lot to me, and I'm not saying that just because you guys are here. Just working on a game takes me back to 2012, and we all want the game to be the best it can be, and we really hope that you guys will enjoy playing it.
Yeah, so you entered the Animus for real.
That's
Back
right.
in 2012, yeah.
I mean, what a great thing, right? To come back to something, you know, more than a decade after, you know, and get to revisit and rebuild and reimagine this wonderful world. It's just been such a pleasure for me, and I thank you guys for bringing me back. Before we wrap this up,
Yeah, we are coming up on
I've
the
got a
end
little
here.
surprise for you. All right, this is
Oh.
something pretty awesome. I saw it today for the first time, and I love it. So here we have an Assassin's Creed Black Flag Resynced collector's edition.
They
It's
gotta
so
show
awesome,
off
and
the
inside
they gotta show
is
off the
a
collector's
really stunningly
edition.
well-crafted figurine of Edward Kenway sitting there, slouched like me, really.
Bring back the figures.
And he looks really cool.
Have the last
and
few
he's
games
crafted
had
really
one?
well. And inside there's a notebook
No,
with
Origins
all
had
of, like,
one.
Kenway's diary entries and journeys about all of his adventures, and there's also a brooch and a cloth map, and then some goodies in there for everyone.
I'm
So
not a
this one is really cool. It's the
statuette
first
collector's
time I've seen it
edition
today,
kind of
and,
guy myself.
if you guys like it, then you're gonna have to.
But
get your own.
cool that
This was
they're showing this off.
You
Like,
deserve
of
it.
course they
thank you.
gotta
No,
You're
but-
welcome to take it.
they gotta
Yes,
show it
thank you
off,
very
get those
much. Thank
pre-order kind of
We
get
can't
the
wait
pre-order
for you
hype
to
up.
live or relive this.
Which I bet it goes
thrilling
on pre-order
pirate
like
adventure
immediately.
With Assassin's Creed Black Flag Resynced that will launch on July 9th, 2026. I just want to say thank you for all being with us today, and we cannot wait for you to experience it yourselves. Cheers.
Cheers. Yeah. All right. Good little look at the game. First impressions are strong, I would say. Pre-order now. And yeah, thank you, IGN. That's nice. Good for you. Yeah, I wonder if they've got pricing up anywhere. Probably not so soon, immediately after Assassin's Creed Black Flag Resynced. No, probably not. So I am curious what the like price for this resync will be. I'm still gonna say that $50 price point is solid, or where I would expect it to kind of sit. I think that's more than appropriate and fair for a, you know, repackaged, remade, changed up a little bit remake of a 13-year-old game. I think that's also the rumored price point for the Halo Campaign Evolved remake that is coming out this year as well. And $40-50 for remasters remakes, that a lot of consumers are cool with that price. It doesn't need to be $60, it doesn't need to be $70, it doesn't need to be full price for what is a 13-year-old game with a new coat of paint. And yes, from that showcase, this is going to be more than that. And it's exciting that they're retaining so much. Yeah, that's I'll have to keep an eye on Resynced. I came out more hopeful for it than I thought I would. I was really worried I was going to see a lot of the RPG elements, Skull and Bone kind of, you know, asset flip kind of reuse of mechanics and things, and it didn't do that. Character animations look good. This is shaping up to be a far better return to form for Assassin's Creed than I think even Assassin's Creed Mirage was. Because I didn't play that one. I don't really have an interest in playing Mirage. It still leans a bit too hard in the, like, Valhalla and Assassin's Creed RPG kind of side of things. But yeah, let me know your thoughts. Did you guys like that? Like, comment, subscribe, and all that jazz that YouTube likes to have me shovel and push on you guys. If you want to catch me on Twitch, I do stream on Twitch. That is twitch.tv/chewycoffee. I stream 4 to 5 days a week. Play a ton of Square Enix games. I actually streamed a few of the Assassin's Creed games, and those VODs are available here on YouTube, along with several other stream playthroughs that I've done. But yeah, that's all I got for you. Au revoir, dos vidania, auf Wiedersehen, sayonara, ciao. Most importantly though, stay happy, stay gaming, and maybe I'll see you guys on the high seas. Later, gang.